All right, let's dive right in. We're going to look at two of the most fundamental words in Islam, Islam and Iman. Now, we all kind of have an idea of what they mean, right? It's been taught a certain way for centuries. But what if I told you there's a grammatical key right there in the Quran that could flip our understanding on its head? What if it points to something way more active, more social? Let's get into it. So, the Quran is incredibly clear on this point. You see verses like this all the time, and whoever desires other than Islam as a religion, never will it be accepted from him. Wow, that's powerful. And it means that figuring out what the word Islam actually means isn't just some dusty academic debate. It's everything. If you ask most people, the answer you'll get is pretty standard. Islam means submission, right? It's what we're all taught. You submit yourself to God's will, his commands, and that's been the understanding forever. But is that really the whole picture? Is that what the language is telling us? And this is where things get really, really interesting, because we're going to dig into an idea that goes right back to the source, to the grammar of the Arabic in the Quran itself. And it suggests that maybe, just maybe, that common definition we all know isn't just incomplete, it might be a total misreading. All right, first up, we're diving straight into the grammar. It sounds a little technical, I know, but trust me, there's a simple rule here that could literally change the entire way we look at this. So this whole analysis, which was put forward by Dr. Khaled Al-Sayed Hassan, really boils down to one thing: the difference between two specific patterns for Arabic verbs. If you can grasp this one distinction, it's like a key that unlocks this whole new way of seeing things. Okay, here it is. This is the absolute core of the argument. In Arabic, you have these verb patterns. One is called the أفعل pattern. Think of this one as the giving pattern. It's an action you do for someone else. It's outward. Then you have the istaf'al pattern. This one is the seeking or asking pattern. It's an action you do to get something for yourself. See the difference? One is giving, the other is asking. Total opposites. And this isn't some obscure rule. You see it in everyday language. Let's look at some examples to make it super clear. The verb atama, that means to give food, but istatama means to ask for food. Same root, different pattern, opposite meaning. Here's another one. Asqa is to give a drink. Istasqa, you guessed it, to ask for a drink. The pattern holds up perfectly. It's always giving versus asking. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, here's the kicker. The word Islam is built on that first pattern, the أفعل pattern, the giving pattern. But the Arabic word for submission, which is istaslam, is built on the second pattern, the istaf'al one, the asking pattern. So saying that Islam is submission is, from a purely grammatical standpoint, like saying that giving food is the exact same thing as asking for food. It just doesn't work. They're literally grammatical opposites. Okay, so if the grammar is pointing in a completely different direction, what about the Quran itself? What does the book say? Let's go investigate the text and see who exactly does the Quran describe as submitters. You'd think, right, that if submission is the main goal, the whole point, then the Quran would be full of commands telling people to submit, using the verb istaslama. So does it? Does the Quran tell people to do that in this life? The answer is 0. Not a single time. Nowhere in the Quran is there a command for people to istaslama, to submit, during their life here on earth. Not once. But wait, the story isn't over. Because while the command verb isn't there, the noun form mustaslimun, which means those who are in submission, does show up. But it only appears one time. And when and where it appears, well, that changes everything. Here it is, the one and only time it's used. And just look at the wording. But they, that day, will be in submission. Notice that? That day. This isn't talking about good people doing good things in this life. It's specifically about the day of judgment. So the big question is, who are they? Well, if you read the verses right around it, there's no mystery at all. The mustaslimun, these people who are in submission, are described as the wrongdoers, their partners in crime, the arrogant, tyrants, criminals, the ones who led others astray. These are the only people ever called submitters. And they aren't submitting out of faith in this life. They're submitting on the day of judgment because they have no other choice. So if Islam doesn't mean submission, then what on earth does it mean? And what about Iman, which is always talked about right alongside it? Let's go back to that grammatical key we discovered and see where it leads us. Okay, remember that أفعل pattern, the giving pattern? Islam is built on it. So if we follow the rule, it doesn't mean seeking or finding peace for yourself. It means the opposite. It means the act of granting peace to others. It's not an internal feeling, it's an external action, a responsibility to make the world around you a more peaceful place. And guess what? The exact same logic applies to Iman. It's also on that أفعل, that giving pattern. So it's not some passive internal state. No, it's the act of actively granting security to others. That means a mu'min isn't just someone who holds a certain conviction inside their heart. A mu'min is someone who is a source of safety and security for everyone around them.
And you know what really backs this up? The Quran has a perfectly good word it could use for, confirming or attesting to something. That word is sadaqah, and it uses it all the time. So the fact that it chooses to use amana, a word from the same root as security, well, that strongly suggests it means something different. One is about what you think in your head, the other is about what you do in the world.
Okay, this has been a really cool deep dive into linguistics, for sure. But so what? What are the real-world stakes here? Why does any of this matter? Why is changing this definition from something passive to something active so important, especially right now? Well, the shift is actually huge. It takes the entire focus of religion and moves it. It moves it from being just about what's going on inside you, your private internal state, to your tangible, real-world impact on other people. It becomes less about what you personally hold to be true and way more about the actual peace and security you are creating for those around you. There's a quote that just hits this home so powerfully. Today we have Islam without peace and Iman without security. Think about that. With over 1 billion people identifying with Islam, why is there so little peace in many places? With so many people of Iman, why is there so much insecurity? This new understanding suggests an answer. Maybe it's because the focus shifted away from our active duty to grant that peace and security in the first place. So here's the bottom line. This perspective completely reframes what religion is all about. It suggests that your standing isn't measured just by what's in your heart, but by your actions, by the peace you give, by the security you provide to everyone in your community, no matter who they are. It's a massive call to social action. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. What would actually change? How would our neighborhoods, our countries, our entire world be different if the main goal of religion wasn't seen as just personal submission, but as our shared, active, collective responsibility to build a world of real, tangible peace and security for everyone?